Alrighty, hello everybody. We should be live now. Oh no, we got an infinite echo. Oh no, we got an infinite echo. We got an infinite echo. Alright, so it's not coming from there. 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 Alright, testing if it's better. Alright, testing if it's better. Alright, testing if it's better. Not entirely 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 better. There we go. Now let's see if that's fixed and working properly and no echo. Now let's see if that's fixed and working properly and no echo. Now let's see if that's fixed and working properly and no echo. Right? How about now? There we go. No echo at long last. Oh. Well, anyway, you know the drill. I'm always late for my own stream. Should have started this quite a bit ago, but hey, whatever. It happens. We've got a lot of editing to do today. Hey there, Freedom Fiend, my guy. You sound like you're speaking through space. Speaking through space and time, yeah. Or my audio was just getting looped through and trying to figure out where the heck I had an unmuted tab. Anyway, Freedom Fiend, how you doing? I'm back after 3 weeks. Although I say that as I was still doing gaming content and being busy with my volunteering stuff, being the president of the library and all that. Dealing with a lot of issues, but I think things are better. We had one guy that was very much causing a bunch of trouble resign from the board of directors, and everybody is much happier now. Oh. All right, let's get that out of the way. Let's grab this link. And let's go to So yeah, Freedom Fiend, have you heard about Afro Man? Will you help me repair my gate? Will you help me repair my door? Did you find what you was looking for? Will you help me repair my gate and door? Hey, Cesar Dacici? The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping. The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping. Oh shoot, what was it? Darn it! Going off. Space Crusader will be coming back. Hey! Nice! Now I know exactly who I'm talking to. Wonderful! Oh, I'm excited for some more Space Crusader. Took a jog and wound up eating. Now I got a nasty shiner that looks like I got sucker punched by George Foreman. Oh, shoot. And wound up eating shit. I completely missed that line. Or that word. Now I got a nasty shiner that looks like you got sucker punched by George Foreman. Damn, that stinks. That stinks so bad. Hopefully that heals up rather quick. That's what the line was. The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping. The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping. Are you joking? I make my money rapping. No, he doesn't say I'm joking. I make my money rapping. The warrant says narcotics. Okay, I get narcotics. But why kidnapping? Also be rewriting fragments for issues 0 to 8, still same frame, just rewording and rebalancing bits. Maria, you smelt it, therefore you're the one who dealt it. Yes, that is the rule. He who smelt it dealt it. I don't make the rules, I merely abide by them. Alright, let's get that out of the way. Hey, Simpendalpado Azteco Anime. Hello. Let me get the Rumble stream activated so we can see the chats from there as well. Go. You can move both of those off screen. I am very much excited for more Space Crusader. In the infamous words of all, the famous words of all Crusaders, Deus Vult! But speaking of Deus Volting, project, narration, Creature 88. I should probably remove privacy screen so you guys can see what's going on. Hubble, close. There we go. Ha. Oh, actually, let me put it right back on. Because I need to go back to my settings. Yeah, so, Simp and Alapado. There, Simp and Alapado. If you're hanging out on Rumble, I do unfortunately need to make that premium only, because I still need to get my premium hours for the month. So, yoink, that's premium, but feel free to check out Twitch and YouTube, or Odyssey, or Kick, and you can keep watching. Alright, there we go. That's done. Now let's turn off the privacy field, and let's get to work. Creature 30. Start. Open. Narrations. Hubble small. And let's Let's get some lines. Let's get some... Memories of Creature 88, episode 30. Effect, first save. Up here, only 14 chapters after this one. Yeah. No idea how that's happening. We're already almost there. If I hadn't have missed so many release dates, we would be very close to there. Because, I just missed 3 weeks this past time, and then I was gone for a month and a half end of last year. That's, 6, 9? That's 9 episodes right there. We'd be 5 away, and I'm sure I missed a couple throughout last year, so, yeah. But still, we're almost there. I'm so happy. Where is the frickin' normalize? There's the normalize. Save. Export. One shot. Memories of Creature 88. Creature 30. Creature 30 audio. Export. Let that get to work. And meanwhile, we... span that. That's good. F rich with is 1728. Center. Whoa. What did I just do? View. Yeah, Control Shift 4. Sure. That was weird. That was super weird. Hey, Bobby Madrid, thank you for the follow. Gotta head off to deal with business. Talk to you on Discord or Reddit. Take care. Thank you. Mystic Bladeworks, hey ya. Welcome. Welcome. Let's get our text color in. Let's get our background dialed in. Let's get the size to 30, full justification. Oh, good. Things coming along. History, recent tabs. Yeah, history. There we are. 6-7. No! I have been 6-7'd. I counter with 69. Or 69,420. Elon Musk's favorite number. Kidnapping. Said narcotics and kidnapping. Dawn. Vincent. Go and let's zoom in. There's perfect. Yeah, I was having fun. So I was at an Easter bazaar earlier today. I'm not the one that's 5,318,008. Okay. Don't know what that number is, but cool. So we don't get feedback. I should use some earbuds. Yeah, I was at an Easter bazaar today at the library. It was fun. Uh, Smaller attendance than last year, but oh well. Had some good food, had some vendors. We had a teen band that played some nice music. And yeah, good stuff. Good cakes, very good cakes. Although I will admit I am rather biased. My mom made the best cakes. Oh. When the calculator is flipped upside... Rubies. The moment you said flip it upside down, I already had the 08, and yeah, it's boobies. Not that I'm complaining. Not that I'm complaining at all. Everybody loves boobies. That's why on Saturday I do Sleazy Saturday video game releases on my gaming channel. So, you know, we played Senran Kagura Peach Ball last time, and that's literally just pinball and boobies. Nothing wrong with that. Except some of them are furries. But the point of the game is to cure them of their furriness. So that's actually good. Alright, let's hop on in and start the work. Vincent says as he stepped onto the lift to take him down to his apartment. Things were either moving much faster than he expected, or much slower than he hoped, and he honestly wasn't sure which. He just discovered the first other live human since being rescued from the worms, and yet wouldn't be able to talk to him for another few days, since he was needed to stop whatever plans the wardens had in motion. Not to mention, he needed to find and free his mother from whatever suspended animation they had her in. After all that, there might be a chance he could find how the worms had abducted them, and then get home. Home? Shit. He'd thought about it, but he hadn't seriously considered ever seeing Earth again until now. How much time had passed? Would he be sought for killing Eric? Would he be thrown in jail? Would they consider him a hero? He'd changed a lot in the past year. Here he was interacting with some of the most powerful figures in a Xeno nation that spanned hundreds of worlds and billions or trillions of citizens. Would introducing humanity to the Union lead to good things? Bad? With their tech, they could seriously help Earth. But humans might have a very easy job working into the Union power structure, then using it for their own gains. What would the AI make of a species like Vincent? Ah. One thing that is nice about this, large paragraphs are so much easier to edit than a ton of small ones. Just hop in, you get two paragraphs. Make of a whole set. Would they want him to become a sort of ambassador? Would it split humanity? Would they have to deal with some sort of civil war regarding being accepted into the Union or staying apart? He sighed as he tried to think it over before stepping off the lift. These were not the sorts of things he'd ever set out to discover. Hell, it was just a fluke that he'd ended up here in the first place. Who could have predicted that a lone worm experiment would go from a simple detective to, whatever he was now? An important detective? Then again, the wardens had expected it. This whole plot had been set into motion through his ear here. They'd been planning for it. Did they know something he didn't? Or did all this revolve purely around the fact that the AI considered him a resource and not a person? As he tried to contemplate these things, he walked down the hall to his apartment. But when he saw some Vernex standing in front of the door, he paused. The Xeno hadn't seen him yet, and he moved quickly to get behind the Xeno before the Vernex could react. Vincent gripped the Xeno by the back of his neck, Magnum poking into his back. Who the fuck are you? Hey, and we already got our first page taken care of. Fucker! Thurman Mills! Please don't kill me! You told me to find out about the black blood dealers! The Xeno looked ready to piss himself in fear, closing his eyes and whimpering a little as Vincent recognized the kid who'd run from him a few days ago on the tram. He let the Vernet go and holstered his weapon, watching the kid slump a bit in relief. I told you to call me. How'd you find out where I live? And why show up? I gave some info to your secretary or whatever. She told me to come here. The kid still looked nervous, but less likely to shit his pants in fear. Vincent frowned, though, as he tried to think about who his secretary might be. Either way, he opened the door to his apartment and shoved the kid inside, before stepping in himself. Hirana! He called out and saw the Xeno lean out of his room with a smile. She was wearing one of his big shirts and had something else on. But he wasn't sure what. Let's see, just 3 paragraphs this time. But he wasn't. Good, you're back, and your little informant came just in time. She stepped into the main room, and Vincent watched Thurman's head track the tail of the other of her neck as it lifted the back of the shirt up. Vincent gave him a good shove to make the kid stop ogling his... whatever Karana was. Shit. This was a whole new problem he hadn't even thought about. He'd deal with it as soon as the kid was gone. Speaking of, why'd you tell him to meet us here? Vincent followed Karana into the kitchen as he watched her frown at his fridge selection, and then pour herself some juice. He has information I thought could be useful. We'll need to take him to meet the team. As long as it's not information that could lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton. That's a great way for Vincent to get killed permanently. He has information I thought could be useful. Meet the team, and I didn't know when you'd get back, so I told him to meet here. Vincent was eyeing the kid as Karana spoke, and then back at her when she was done. She looked him in the eyes and then tilted her head to the kid. Eyes and then tilted. So, Thurman, what do you have to tell me that is apparently worth inviting you to my home? Vincent said as he approached the kid and motioned for him to take a seat, while Vincent leaned against the edge of his dining room table. The kid looked nervous once more, now that he wasn't examining every curve of Karana he could see. I don't know. I just did some research on who the dealers are near the universities, like you said. I don't think there was anything all that special. He looked from Vincent to Karana, and then back. He didn't look like he was being smart, which meant he wasn't the one who made some sort of connection. Well then, Karana, what do you think is so important? Vincent glanced over at the Xeno. She sipped up the juice from his fridge. Alright, that's already 2. 2 pages done. Progress is progressing. She sipped up the Crunchies. They're university students who preach a lot of things. They talk about helping the lower sectors a lot. I've heard them speak before. They're well-meaning, but stupid. Every time one of them came down to my old neighborhood to try and help, it wasn't long before they were taking the nearest lift back up. But she looked at the kid and then back to Vincent with a little smirk. It seems they've got a new teacher. Is that what you're talking about? The kid asked, and Vincent arched a brow. A few months back, some big program got started up to try and help the lower sectors. Like, an actual program, not just Crunchies wandering down there. And a lot of people signed up, but it was a disaster. I don't really know how, I just know it sucked. But one thing did happen. Some Mortillion came up and got sponsored by some big Crunchy supporter. He started talking a lot and got lots of support. Then he started some sort of speaking event for private guests and has all kinds of support. Crunchies talk about him like he's a prophet or something. They've been fundraising and volunteering like crazy. Chance to meet him. Oh no. Who could this Ortillion be? Bum bum bum. Crazy for a chance. Vincent looked back to Karana with a questioning look, since he didn't make the connection. A prophet? Or perhaps a preacher? No fucking way. He looked back at the kid. Do you know where he is? I've never met him or anything. He's always in this private estate next to the Gersman Academy in Sector 6. A few people are honored enough to get in there. I only know about it because they say some of the Crunchies sell black blood to help the fundraising efforts. The Verneck shrugged. Who is he? Someone I need to introduce myself to. Vincent said as he rubbed his chin and nodded at Karana. Very good catch. Is there something you can change into before we take the team? Go. 3 pages. Two before we take. I didn't exactly bring much with me last night. She giggled a bit and shrugged. I'll just put the same dress on. It won't be the first time I've worn the same thing 2 days in a row. Of course, with the workout I had last night, I'm not sure it'll fit right. To be honest, I'm glad I could still walk this morning. Vincent blinked. The kids stared hard. Karana sipped the juice as she clearly enjoyed their reactions. Yes, Vincent finally said. Well, that we can talk about in private, if you need some time. No, I'll go change. She drank the last of the juice, set the glass down, and swayed past. As the kid tried to turn his head and once more follow her tail that was still holding up the back of his shirt, Vincent reached down and firmly rotated the kid's head to only look straight at Vincent, before wagging his finger at the once more nervous informant. Once more when Karana exited his room once more, she was wearing the dress that was glowing neon colors. It really did change the colors and patterns as he watched, so it wasn't just the drugs last night. But it was quite tight on her, and he couldn't keep the kid focused for the entire journey. So instead, Vincent pulled the kid up by the back of his shirt and made him walk in front as Karana fell by his side. No shade, he's just admiring your company, Karana murmured. No shade. Right. Now, Shade, he's just admiring your company. Now, Shade, he's just admiring your company. Mm-hmm. Do, do, do. Do, do. Mm-hmm. Mix and render. Normalize. And export 30v2. There we go. Ooh. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Ma-da do 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 do. Da-da-da. Oh, I'll break that door. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dee 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 dee. 30 v2.m4a, drop it there, ripple delete, waveform build, perfect, mute. Now, Shade. Karana fell by his side. Now, Shade, he's just admiring your company. Remove track, and made him walk in, fell by his side. Now, Shade, he's just admiring your company. Karana murmured, but Vincent didn't let the kid turn around and follow even so. Did she know his name? He couldn't remember if he'd actually told Karana his real name. She hadn't asked, and perhaps it wasn't important to her. He wasn't sure. He glanced at her from the side of his vision for a moment. They walked to the lift, and he could see some of his neighbors looking awfully confused, as he had company for the first time ever. They rode it down to level 10, and he saw the facility from the night before. Day from before? There was some old sign that was covered up next to the entrance, but the gate was open. He'd have to figure out setting up some sort of security. Soon. Split there. Good. And oh. Bum. Figure out setting pretty soon. The pull made him realize it had been a very, very long time indeed since he'd last gone swimming, but that would also have to wait. They approached the big building he'd found the party in before, and this time found it to be much quieter. The first floor had some sort of reception area, but no one behind the desk. The large area they'd hosted the party in had been mostly cleared of people, but there was plenty of trash left behind. It wasn't until they walked up the stairs to the second floor that they found everyone. Some were asleep on the cots, others were sitting at makeshift tables with what looked like cheap folding chairs for seats. They didn't notice him at first, each little group continuing with whatever they had been doing when they arrived. He was about to call attention to himself when someone else beat him to it, as they fired a Talon rifle into the ceiling. His magnum was out in a second as he saw Frey at the edge of the room. The Xenos were scrambling. Some grabbing weapons, some just waking up. Oh, it's nice when this stuff actually goes by quickly. That's 4 pages done out of 11. We're, call it a third of the way there. We're scrambling. Some just waking up. Most of you would be dead already, the satyr said as she began to walk down the room. The shade here might be able to come back, but none of you sorry shits can. You volunteered for this program and have been handpicked by me. I know you've all got experience, so why the fuck didn't any of you think about setting a watch? Monitoring the entrance to the facility? Shit, no one was even watching the door. The various Xenos glanced between Frey and Vincent now, finally noticing their new boss. From now on, someone has always got to be watching while we're here. We might get some help to keep the place secure down the line, but for now there's just 12 volunteers, 1 Yervesh, and 1 Shade who have guns. We need to put them to use. She smiled at Vincent and stopped in front of him. Glad you finally got back to us, boss. I was worried someone might have stolen you. She smirked a bit and glanced at Corona, who giggled. Shall I introduce you? Shall I? Vincent nodded. That would probably be a good idea. I don't want to be shouting out, "Hey, you, the fat one," in the middle of a firefight. He paused then and looked over the Xenos before him. There were certainly more than 12 people here. I'm guessing not everyone is part of the program that Kuina authorized. Her office allowed us to pick up some people we need for general support, but I'll introduce you to the core. She looked at the others and growled. Get into a fucking line! There was some general chaos for a moment as they tried to arrange themselves in some sort of fashion after the satyr had growled at them. Frey nodded to the first 2 in line. Hermione, 1 male, 1 female. They were on the thin side compared to Kov and the lady who sold him the gourmet rat. Tishna and Portstiv, husband and wife. They came very highly recommended from the Lodestov. Freedom Fiend, I have to wonder, what changed that suddenly made Vincent the most eligible bachelor in the city? I think the author just really wanted to do some Xeno pancakes. But yeah. Suddenly, Corona and Kuina both want a piece of him. Came very highly recommended. They nodded to him. Tishna was gray with a silver shimmer to her, white along her hands, just a bit of black on her face. Portstiv, meanwhile, was more of a chocolate brown with bright red streaks along his face and hands. Shade, we saw your work when you came to visit. It'll be an honor to serve, the female Tishna said. You give us a chance while many in the Union do not, Portstiv added. Frey moved on to her neck. He looked a bit more worn than most of the smooth-talking Vernac Vincent was used to. Rents, he used to own a restaurant near some of the clubs in the lower sectors. What happened? Vincent asked. Megatron. No, I want 2. Now that was Optimus Prime. No, Megatron, I will not allow you to have 2. You are limited to just 1. Vincent asked. My partner got hooked on black blood. I didn't want to talk about it, but you've got me, and you've got Birch here. He reached up and slapped the side of a Gurgat, who was next to him. Vincent eyed the mountain of muscle warily. Usually, Gurgats were either incredibly peaceful or exceptionally aggressive. It seemed like Renz could sense Vincent's unease. He was in an accident when he was a kid. I do the talking for him. He does the punching for me. Trust me, he's solid. Vincent nodded and moved on to Frey. Next were 2 howlers, Ortillians. Did they not like being called howlers? He'd ask privately later. They were both bigger than Vincent, but they looked a bit young. Huns and Luns, brothers, more importantly, cousins of Mong. They grinned. She told us she'd rip our heads off if we didn't join! Ortillians. Always love voicing them. In the first Michael Bay Transformers movie, one of the Autobots says, do you want a piece of me? Megatron responds with the above line while ripping him in half, which is what you were referencing. I only watched Michael Bay Transformers once, and honestly, I don't really remember anything. I'm going to transform. Starscream, hold me! My memory borders on photographic for better or worse. Ah, yes, mine definitely isn't that. I did apply normals. Yeah. Yep, normalization has been done. That's just the loud segment. Okay. 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes. Good. She'd rip our head on! I figured it would be better to be fighting for the good guys and not get our heads ripped off! Vincent didn't know which was which, so he laughed and nodded before moving on. Now he came across a Xeno he wasn't familiar with. He looked down to what seemed to be a goblin made out of coral. It had jagged, rocky features, but it looked more aquatic to him than anything else. Otherwise, the short frame and sneering face made him think of a goblin more than anything else. This is unplanned. I'm just going to call him Jeeb. Based on your expression, I guess you haven't met them before. They're Nurmkasfot, very handy with machines and explosives. The Xeno grinned as explosives were mentioned. Why is it that small creatures seem to be fascinated with blowing things up? Vincent asked.
Well, I mean, how else am I supposed to fight? Boom, boom.
With blowing things up. Asked. Well, I'm not going to get whipped to death now, am I? The short Xeno said with a laugh. Vincent nodded, and then looked at the next two who he also didn't recognize. Or, well, he did, but he didn't know the name. They had a mix of avian features and a sort of elven appearance, as if an elf got dressed up as a carnival dancer down in South America. Bright plumage, some sort of webbing or wing along their sides, like a wingsuit, and tail feathers as well. They looked a bit frail to be fighters. These are our pilots, Nivala and Fimi. They used to run smuggling operations, but have recently been looking for honest jobs. Black blood dealers killed our old boss. He was a good man. He didn't deserve what happened. The one you thought was Nivala said that. I'm not familiar with the species. Vincent commented. Right. We are more than halfway. Sweet. Species. Akrivan. There are a few Akri subspecies. We're good with flying. We don't need computers as much as others since we sort of glide and know how it works. Fimi said as she gave her arms and the wings a flap. When their arms were down, it was loose and colorful. When they stretched their arms out, it went tight, and you could see a whole pattern of feathers. Vincent nodded, noticing the end of the line before looking back to Frey. The others? Well, you've met Karana, I believe, and me, and Mong. Frey said with a smirk. Vincent quickly did some mental math and nodded. Where is Mong? Where is Mong? Solid point. Explosive and chemical propellants are the great equalizer in fights. I mean, you know the saying. God made man and woman. Samuel Colt made them equal. Alright, we're close. And nodded. Is Monk. She is still recovering. It'll be about a week, but I wouldn't even dream of replacing her. Then she'd rip my head off, Frey said with a laugh. What about Harbacad? Vincent didn't see the Yervesh among the assembled Xenos. He, went back to his apartment with some guests last night. Frey said. Guests? Plural? Vincent asked, and caught the others snickering a little as Frey slowly nodded. Vincent shrugged then. Do we have some sort of command room, or any place to discuss tactics? Because I've got some information here that we're going to act on right away. He gave Thurman, his informant, a pat on the shoulder. A pat on the shoulder. Did you know that Samuel Colt himself came up with that slogan as a marketing gimmick? I did not. That is news to me. Did you know that "Don't Mess with Texas" is an anti-littering slogan? uh... His informant. Frey laughed. We don't really have anything like that at the moment, but we can get something up and running soon. But it's not going to be anything quick. Is there anything else you can do in the meantime? She asked. Corona tapped his arm. Why don't we go take a look at the place? It won't hurt to get some layout and a general idea of what we're dealing with here. Sure. Vincent nodded. I'll do some reconnaissance and then return with more information. Frey, I'll leave you in charge while I'm gone, although I'm pretty sure you made yourself in charge anyway. The satyr grinned. Old habits die hard. See if I can fit all that. 372? Yeah, I think we will. Old habits. What about the rest of us? One of the Ortelians asked. I just said I was putting her in charge. That means you'll do what she tells you. Vincent said as he arched a brow. But what if she wants us to do chores and stuff? I thought we were here to beat up the bad guys and clean the streets. The other said. Vincent walked down to stand between the two Xenos, looking up at them while doing his best to make them feel small. If you're told to do chores, then you fucking do them. Beating up bad guys and cleaning the streets takes a lot more than cracking skulls. If you can't follow shitty orders you don't understand when it involves cleaning up our new HQ and getting it running, then I have no faith in you to follow shitty orders you don't understand out in the field. And shitty orders you don't understand will be coming up a lot until you're old enough and experienced enough to know how to command your own team. Until then, I expect you to do whatever your superior asks of you. Is that fucking green? Is that fucking green? Yes, 4 pages. Might be. Get rid of that. 50, wow. That fucking great! They jerked up straighter as he barked at them. The green is great, sir! They shouted in unison. Vincent eyeballed them a while longer before finally stepping away. Frey, is there an armory here? I didn't bring my mask and I feel like I might need it. One level up is what used to be the lab. There are some secure crates in the corner. The one with the Firebird on the side has your stuff. I think you'll figure out the code pretty easily. Frey told him. Vincent nodded and let Karana get whatever she wanted while he headed up the floor. He found the crate she had mentioned and wondered what the code was. For he sighed and pressed 8 twice. No? Accidentally deleted the paragraph that I didn't include. Was and pressed 8 twice. As the box opened, he figured he should change the code to the prison room in case someone just kept hitting 8 on that one like he had. He was pulling on the mask he had found inside when he saw Karana walk up the stairs with Frey. The satyr spoke first. I've got them starting to clean up. I'll organize them more in a minute, but I needed to show her the crate she's looking for. The satyr opened up a crate without any markings on it, and Vincent peered inside to see a number of little trinkets and strange devices, which he soon recognized as surveillance bugs. What are these for? I figured I shouldn't change my clothes just yet. Karana murmured as she began to select a number of the devices. The kid has a source that he thinks can get me into the building. I figure this might be our best chance of getting some better info. Make sure it's the right profits. Because, I mean, there's only so many prophets that are all running around at the same time. It's not like it's the Covenant where they got, prophets aplenty. It's the right profit.
What does your dress have to do with this? Vincent asked, not liking where this was heading. I'll be the kid's date. Now hold on a minute. Vincent started. You've got nothing to be jealous about. Corona quickly cut him off, but Vincent went on. Who's jealous? I was going to say the moment they see you with a scruffy tweaker like that, they'll know you can't be real. The girls laughed at his comment and he smiled beneath the mask. Soon Corona had what she needed, though, and he headed back down to collect the informant before they headed back out the building.
Again to the lift. How far is this place?
Unfamiliar with the location of the university.
They made us handle the password for his stuff. These Xenos have the OPSEC of an 88-year-old grandma. Hey, you don't speak poorly about Kit Boga. Kit Boga may be an 88-year-old grandma, but he knows how to completely destroy scammers. Familiar with the location.
It's a bit of a walk. We should actually catch a tram before we head up on the lift. And you'll need to tail us from a distance, Corona said. What are you talking about? Vincent wasn't a fan of that idea. We have no idea when they'll start watching people in the area, and you're going to get a lot of attention, especially on the train. She chided. Vincent let out a sigh before nodding. Fine. The university has a library not too far from the estate. You should be able to see us from there, Thurman said.
Be able to see us from
Thurman said. Corona pulled one of the devices she had from the small purse she was bringing along and activated it, flipping it onto a bracelet she was wearing that Vincent hadn't noticed before. Had she always been wearing it? He'd been pretty fucked up last night, but he didn't remember it then. Or earlier. She pulled it up to her mouth. Testing. He heard her voice echoed in his mask and nodded. Sounds good. I'll drop back. He stopped and let them walk a ways ahead before he started to follow once more. Leaving them the better part of a block in front of him, it took them a good half hour to get to the tram station, and they weren't right. Once on the tram, everyone was staring at him. They got off at the same stop an hour later, as he had watched them from a distance, and everyone else gave him space and tried to stay away from him entirely. Then they were catching a lift up to the university. He spotted them walking one way, but the library was straight ahead of him. A little nervous.
But the library was straight ahead of him. Wow. Two small mistakes in a short while. I said train instead of tram, and I completely skipped over soon. Then they were soon catching a lift, and I just said then they were catching a lift. Oh well. Those are minor enough that I'm not fixing it. Ditching that last paragraph. Yeah, not a big enough difference to matter. Exactly. Although I did re-record, I only said now instead of now. And despite also being only one word, that actually makes a difference. That's why we got a V2, but I'm not doing a V3. At least not yet.
But the library, a little nervous, but still ready to trust Corona, he made his way into the library and found his way to the fourth floor. There was a park of sorts next to the building, but he saw Corona and Thurman walking towards what looked to be a walled-off section of campus. When he realized the entire thing was the estate, he whistled softly. Someone wealthy owned that place. Someone very wealthy. It wasn't a Sector 1 palace like Maka had, but it certainly didn't lack for a garden and grow lights. Not to mention
Sector 1 palace like
but it certainly didn't lack for a garden and grow lights. Not to mention security. He saw the prevalence of cameras around the place. As he watched Corona and Thurman walk to the entrance, he saw the kid wrap his hand around Corona's waist and heard her talk on the comm. Getting a little handsy, don't you think?
She asked.
Hey, you're supposed to be my girlfriend, right? Gotta make it believable. Vincent grumbled a bit as he could hear the playful tone in the kid's voice, now that he was out of immediate beating range from Vincent. I can still break your arm, kid. Vincent warned, before realizing they didn't have a way to hear him, and he just broadcast that over his normal channel. Creature 88, is something going on? He suddenly heard. Hello, Cavazor. Forget it. I was just... Don't worry about it. Shit, he didn't need this right now. Okay, look, Vincent frowned as he heard Yervesh stammer a bit. Cavazor wasn't one to mince words generally.
Mince words generally. Boom, boom, boom. Cavazor wasn't one to...
Yes, he asked. It's, about, do you, Now he was really confused. When had Cavazor ever beaten around the bush like this? Anytime today, Cavazor. Vincent muttered. I kinda turned on the screen in your apartment last night, after we had calls of screaming. Vincent was quiet. Are you there, Creature 88? What did you see? His confusion had become worry about what had been seen. And, didn't those screens record? Well, a lot. Cavazor confessed before
Vincent gasped out. Cavazor confessed before...
What the fuck? What did you want me to do? There was that or call in a patrol team to see what was going on. Vincent closed his eyes as he thought about his neighbor complaining about screaming. Christ. It was just in the main room, right? Please tell me there isn't a screen in my bedroom. Vincent wanted to rub his face, but couldn't with his mask on, and settled for banging his head against the library window. There's a screen in your bedroom. Fucking hell, Cavazor! Who saw it?
Cavazor!
It's just me. But all our communications get logged, and Supreme Council Chair Karina ordered that file to be sent to her office, so I'm assuming she'll delete it, and so it'll be just me and her. Vincent groaned heavily and smacked his head against the window once more. He had a feeling she wouldn't delete it. He was about to say something else when he got more on the bug. Fine, head on in. Just stick to the main areas for now. It was a voice he didn't recognize. Hold on, Cavazor. I'm dealing with something. I'll talk to you in a bit. He focused on the bug then. Things were quiet for a moment. Then suddenly he saw a small video in the corner of his vision. He selected it and made it take up most of his vision to better observe. Karana was swaying away from wherever she'd stuck the bug. He saw a number of Xenos. They looked like college age mostly. A few howlers here and there.
Out of place. But yeah, when they were called howlers, it was instant for me. They obviously gotta talk like this! Here and there, looking out of...
Karana began to move, and Vincent watched what almost looked like some sort of complicated ballet or performance dance. She slipped between crowds, waved, rubbed, or giggled her way around, and he got the feed from bug after bug. No one stopped her as she kept moving. First from the main room to some secure areas, stopping off in a bathroom that she'd been told was only for staff, and then moved on to the next even more secure area. Vincent watched this progress for about an hour, before Karana and the kid were walking out of the building. No one inside seemed to be any wiser. He needed to get back down to them, but he was busy at the moment watching a howler talk to a satyr in grey armor in one of the private dining rooms near the back of the estate.
So... it's set. Three, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess that's acceptable ratio.
But the new prototype is, yes. I don't have much faith in it, but if he's as good as usual at whipping a crowd into a frenzy, then the people will simply eat it up. That was the satyr. I'll let him know. He's been in a mood since the shade escaped a while back. He expected more from the crowds. Remind him that we don't need him to try and get the shade killed. That's not the objective here. Just tell him to build up as much hatred for the Yervesh as possible.
So you're saying that there are shadowy forces trying to get college kids to join ACAB protests? Wow, who could have guessed?
Hold up as much as possible. All right, I'll tell him to prepare his next sermon. As they split up, Vincent couldn't help but smile. I've got you now, fucker. His triumphant moment was ruined, however, as he heard Cavazor. I swear it wasn't my fault. I had no idea what I'd find. Vincent sighed. He had to set that straight, but then he'd meet up with Corona and then get his team ready to take the preacher down. He knew the bastard would be living in the lap of luxury, while telling the people to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. Vincent wanted to see the fucker's reaction when he came knocking, magnum in hand.
Here we go. Here. Save, export. Not one shots. Memories of Creature 88, Creature 30, Creature 30, render. Boom! Alright. That was the biggest problem. Memories of Creature 88 is always the roadblock. I love it, but it is a half hour of comedic punchline goes here. It is a half hour of content, and you know, as you saw, it took me about an hour to edit it, and it took me even longer to record it. Hey, Joe the Brick, welcome. Good to see ya. Yep. Go start. Alright, I'm off to bed. Much too tired to stay up any longer. Hey, that's totally fair. Currently in a game mining in a very spooky cave where they're instant kill monsters. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all. Very surprised YouTube let that be sent. Yeah. The stuff that YouTube allows versus the stuff that it doesn't is so weird. I remember there was a day where the spam filters were completely messed up, and on live streams they would block anything basically that wasn't brain rot. So you had people that were just doing on one stream. They found that if you were doing if you included zoot in your comment, it would work. So, you know, every comment, every super chat had to have zoot in it, and the host was so confused why everyone was mentioning zoot. On another one, they figured out that if you do a tum tum tarun or something like that, no, ZUTT, which is the former name of the Jet people. And the Jet people are basically the people of modern Pakistan and India and that general area, kind of the Punjab region. Yeah. But it's funny because during like the 700s, they were basically they lost some war and kind of got kicked out of their homeland, so they were basically a bunch of migrants taking physical labor jobs around the place, including the Arabian Peninsula. And they had a history of being very sexually promiscuous with large members that never went soft. And there's also a story where Muhammad, the so-called Prophet of Islam, went out into the desert to meet a bunch of Al-Zut, and they, according to the source, rode him all night long. And the best part is, this is some wild lore. Yes, it is. The best part, riding as slang means the same thing in Arabic as it does in English. You can ride a horse, or you can ride a woman. Or you could have 30 Punjabi men ride Muhammad. And the best part is, the sources don't say that it was 30 of them, but we do know that it probably was something in the vicinity of 30. Because there is, I'm sure you've heard this. This was a really popular belief back in ye olden days. Really, of course, the language barrier is non-existent with the suggestive things. So if you're familiar, like back in, say, the Athenians. They were a bunch of boy lovers. But the idea was that, a man could inject his manliness into a boy, and that's how they would grow up and become men. Yeah. Crazy stuff. They continue doing that in Afghanistan. They still say girls are for offspring, boys are for fun. But yeah, the old world is really messed up. It is really messed up. Anyway, that is a belief that was also practiced in Arabia, and there are texts where Muhammad claims to have the strength of 30 men. And, you're telling me all those slurs I learned are accurate? Yes. There is a reason slurs stick. If they weren't accurate, they wouldn't be there. Kill the spammer, kill the spammer, kill the spammer, do. There we go. Stereotypes, you mean, right? But yeah. It would be facts instead of a slur. Exactly. So yes, Muhammad claimed to have the strength of 30 men. And everyone's just like, okay, but why 30? And then you kind of put two and two together that people used to believe there is a way to inject manliness into someone. And they believed that, there is a record. It's in the Hadith. So basically any Sunni Muslims are required to believe those pretty much with the same level of belief that they need to believe the Quran. And yeah, I saw, so people that got it really popular was David Wood. He runs an interesting channel. But what got it, out to normies also, Nuxtaku reacted to it. And his brain was full of fuck. It's just like, this can't be real. It's real. But it gets even better. So, in June of 2024, I was watching some live stream, and just as a joke, I sent in a super chat, and I said, hey, don't forget to celebrate LGBTQI for Pride Month. Lesbians, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, and Islam. And then in 2025, the whole Men of Al-Zut thing just completely blew up, and everybody knew what Zut was. And yeah, I need to go back and bug that guy and say, hey, I think I'm more of a prophet than Muhammad. I correctly predicted that Islam would be part of the LGBTQ spectrum. Anyway, so Stab, I have attempted to commission custom art for Jana von Valencius from the actual reputable Art Commission Exchange site. Fingers crossed. Nice. Wow, so progressive. Sand people gone woke. Yes, apparently. uh... Well, that can be closed. And Reacher 30, that can be saved and closed as well. Well, hey, we have the crypto fascist here, am I right? Yes. So yeah, Joe, Enweiss, funny story. Enweiss is very much on the libertarian end of the political spectrum. And he keeps getting called crypto fascist by people that have no idea what a frickin' fascist even is. Actually, you know what? Speaking of fascist people and stuff, let me pull up my Hubble privacy screen for a second. Get Discord pulled up. All right, let's get... Good. That's pushed away. Mi general Augusto Pinochet. Te saludo, su pueblo tan querido. El presidente de nuestra gran nación. Mi general Augusto Pinochet. Don't question the things I say. Not even I know what they mean. There and Porky. Yes, there we go. Also, I'm going all caps again. Okay. So yeah, the most hilarious political compass chart. Yes, NYS does some really good LPs. I highly approve of them. So yeah, you have the sadly asked when I completed had stabbed man midway through while he was taking an important role. Freedom. Yeah, so Enweiss is very much libertarian. He's down here in the freedom corner. I'm very much in the top right, God, family, and morals. And yeah. Now on the left, you got authoritative left, perfect world where everyone's happy. Libertarian left, love, equality, and science. And then you just have the way that everybody views each other's. So, you know, my political compass is, you know, you got the good people here. You got the amoral mercenaries down there. You got Satan, and you got Satan's gay minions. Where's Wall on this spectrum? I don't know what Wall is. You'll need to explain that one to me. But yeah, and then of course the authoritative left has to call everyone Nazis and slave owners and useful idiots. Wall's made of bricks. Walls as in, yes, very nice. Now face the wall, please. Because otherwise, the only other bricks that I'm familiar with are Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Does thou not get it? No, I am so confused. Unless you're talking about yourself as the brick. But you're just a single brick. I'd say you're not as much of a bootlicker as you claim. I do have libertarian tendencies. They have mellowed out since, say, my late teens, early 20s, when I kind of started getting politically active, but yeah. Maybe he's talking about building the wall and making Mexico pay for it? Maybe? Possibly? It's a literal wall, just straight up a wall made of my fellow bricks. Solid bricks. Okay. Made of you and your fellow bricks. Gotcha, Joe. Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, when Anyways and I are joking around on Discord, sometimes I'll call him a quirky fascist. Just because that one's such a silly one. And it's very political because everything is political in this day and age. Yes, yes. Alright, let's pull my Hubble. Fascinating. Yes, very fascinating. Although, walls are pretty much dead center. On the topic of political compasses, I do need to mention that this is, of course, the modern left's political compass. Love and hope in that corner, and everything else is far right. Update on your mining, your luck is terrible. Oh no, did you get one insta-killed by something? Alright, there we go. We can close that out. I mean, accurate. Yeah. That is what they think. Oh no, I didn't die. I just can't get the ore I need. Some guy is commenting, if my power goes out during the storm, I can sit in my Tesla for over 24 hours straight with the heat set to 70 in my garage if needed. Can you do that in a gasoline vehicle? And someone replied, you know what? I may as well unblock Hubble. If my power goes out during a storm, I can sit in my Tesla for over 24 hours straight with the heat set to 70 in my garage if needed. Can you do that in a gasoline vehicle? I can sit in a warm gasoline-powered vehicle idling in my garage for the rest of my life. Oh, Stab. Hello, thank you, and I appreciate your request. I really like the characters shown on the reference, but my March slots are currently full right now. I might start working on this in April if you're good with that. Okay. It wasn't Xanathar's guild. We help blind children. We would like to clarify, is blind an adjective or a verb? I plead the fifth! All right. Ooh, there we go. Another political compass. A very accurate political compass. The instant killing part of the monsters isn't even the scary part, it's the fact that they send you to another place where they kill you, And I really don't want to be sent there because I don't know how to leave. Oh, that does suck. Yeah. Don't even need any words. Explains everything. Alright. Enough of going through the meme folder that I had. That hat compass is amazing, anyways. Adjusts top hat and monocle. Hat compass, best compass, by far. Alright. Troublemakers. Let's go deal with our favorite death empowered superhero or whatever. Act. Normalize. Well, time to leave the mines. Better luck next time, you guess. Okay. Good luck with that. Go. There is our export progress. Audio open. Troublemakers.
Drake tapped his...
M4A. Complete. In text. Nope. Go. Troublemakers. Fortunately, this one's shorter. We've only got 5 pages as opposed to 11. And the next one after that has 4. So literally the next 2 will take less time than the first one. Ah.
Drake tapped his foot and paced the elevator hazy with smoke as he took yet another drag of the cigarette. A light, loose feeling coming over his body. The door being open, and Drake grumbled as he stepped through, plucking the cigarette from his lips. He froze, looking around at the smooth, ebony wood paneling of a stepped through the cigarette from his lips. He froze, looking around at the smooth, ebony wood paneling of a cluttered office. A fire crackled warmly in a hearth by the massive oak desk that took up the center of the room. The person behind it was all too familiar. The fuck do you want? Drake snarled, throwing his cigarette butt into the fireplace. Drake slowly looked up from the piece of paper.
Wow. Okay. That's terrible. Right at the start. Can't get the subject wrong. "40 seconds in, first mistake." 40 seconds in. Drake slowly looked up from the piece of paper and his Drake slow. Death slowly looked up from the piece of paper in his slim, pale hands and gestured to the opposite side of the desk, where a chair of black smoke sprung from the ground. That should be good. Death slowly looked up. Yep. Henzo Squidware table. So confused. Drake slowly looked up from the piece of paper. Sad new stereo track. X and render. I think my enter key is broken. It keeps sending early. Handsome Squidward table is what I meant to say. Okay, I'm not familiar with Handsome Squidward table. Also, Stab, have you seen the video for Weird Al's party in the CIA? It's pretty neat. I don't think I have. Have you heard hardware store? Not relevant at all, but very something. Okay. Well, the simplest way is you can distract me and I can look it up. Handsome Squidward table. I am familiar with the Handsome Squidward meme. Okay, I see Handsome Squidward. I see a Squidward table, but I don't see a Handsome Squidward table. uh... That's if you can even find the specific image you saw earlier. Unfortunate. Yeah. Let's just zoom out. So, I mean, Obviously, I'm familiar with Handsome Squidward, and there literally is a Squidward table. But no Handsome Squidward table. It's just a handsome Squidward face made of stone with glass on it. Ah, okay. Yeah. No luck finding it. Wait, is that uh Donnie from Wild Thornberries? I think so. Le creature. Hang on. Guess I could just find that on YouTube. Yeah, Donnie. Okay, hopefully. Hopefully. And we'll see if that gets my stream taken down or anything. Hopefully it's small. It was a short enough clip that it won't. Very wise words from that creature. Yes, the wisest of words. There we go. Party in the CIA got the link. Thanks, Anwise. Done. Let's turn off Hubble. To the fireplace.
He looked up from the piece of paper in
Drake snuck
his cigarette butt into the fireplace. Death slowly looked up from the piece of paper in his slim, pale hands and gestured to the opposite side of the desk, where a chair of black smoke sprung from the ground. Sit. Drake was about to protest, mouth opening to shout at Death. That was when a wave of icy cold replaced the normally relaxing aura of Death. I said sit. Like a whipped dog, Drake bowed his head and sat down in the hard, smoky chair. Drake sighed and reached beneath the table. There was a pair of clicks, and Death set a pair of plain, steel tubing prosthetics with tennis shoe feet on his desk. The warming aura returned as Death's cloak faded away, leaving a boy not much younger than Drake, sitting in a tall-backed ebony chair. Death plucked 2 golden black cigarettes from the air, lighting them both before slinging one to Drake. Catching it, Drake felt an overwhelming, unnatural calm as he took his first drag. Death sighed out in a small cloud of smoke before speaking.
You're losing it, Drake.
before. You're losing it, Drake. A flare of rage ignited in Drake's chest as he pounded a fist on the table. The fuck do you mean I'm losing it, you bag of bones? I'm perfectly fine! Death gave Drake a knowing look, before taking a long drag of his cigarette. Composing his thoughts, Drake exhaled a wisp of smoke and pinched the bridge of his nose. How do I put this? Going out in the middle of the night to gather information, and putting 5 notions in the dirt doesn't exactly scream, I'm in control, to me. Drake wanted to retort, but kept silent. Something in Death's words had struck home. Drake took another drag of his cigarette,
Looking dejectedly. Looking at 15-ish minutes, so...
drag of his cig dejectedly. What else am I supposed to do? I can't sleep without seeing that flash in my dreams, seeing their corpses like a blood-soaked mountain that towers towards the sky. I promised them I'd protect them, that I'd keep them safe, and I got them killed. Grief smothered the burning ember of rage in his chest as he took another shaky drag of the cigarette. Death looked on with pity, remembering when he too had struggled with overwhelming emotions, a luxury lost to him as a primordial. You can't save them all. Shut up! Just shut up! I know I can't save them all, but no matter how hard I try, they just keep dying. And even with the power you've given me, I'm powerless to save them.
Speaking of Death, he now has his hands full managing a recent arrival. Would that be managing the Ayatollah? Oh no, Chuck Norris, duh. Forgot about the obvious one. But yeah, the thing with Chuck Norris is, he's already been dead for 20 years. Death just finally gathered the courage to tell him. Yep. Actually, one thing, NYS, if you wouldn't mind doing a quick test, how bad is the delay on the Twitch side? Legendary meme, Harambe welcoming him. Yes, yes. Although we all know it would be Bruce Lee welcoming him, so they could get another good spar in at last.
To save them. Drake cut Death off out of frustration. Wiping his eyes, he took a deep drag of the cigarette, before laying his face in his hands. It was at times like these he was reminded of how young he truly was. There was a soft double click from behind the desk, as Death's voice softened. There's someone I'd like you to meet. Please follow me. She's a very busy woman. Drake nodded and stood, following Death to a door that grew out of the wall. When he opened it, Drake was blinded by the light that emanated from the room beyond. A woman's soft voice inquiring, Grimoire, is that you, darling? Death nodded, a slight blush
To his face. Okay, sending this on 12/23. Good. $18,000. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. It's not like whatever insanity was happening Friday night with Peach Ball. Stream was just absolutely insane then. But that was something on locally that was going wrong. That was OBS completely freaking out. But even when OBS isn't freaking out, sometimes the Twitch stream will get minutes behind. And that's just crazy.
Death nodded, coming to his face. Yes, dearest, I have somebody I'd like you to meet. The light decreased in intensity, and Drake could see the white, cloud-like walls and floor, small lights flitting about around the woman in the center. Drake felt his heart flutter, and his mouth dry as he beheld the woman in white and gold robes. Fluffy, dense, dark hair grew in a tasteful afro atop her head. Deep, dark, and smooth ebony face crinkled into a warm smile, around bright, dark brown eyes that seemed to hold all the secrets of the universe and sparkled like diamonds. Her movements were graceful and smooth, seeming to beckon to him as she guided those small, floating lights around the room. She was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Her smile was so bright and intoxicating that he'd do anything.
Keep it there. Yes, minutes is madness. Madness? This is Sparta! That he'd do.
Oh, is this your new friend? Please, please, come in and introduce me to them. Death gestured for Drake to step in, and Drake obediently did. He felt a warm, smoothing, almost giddy sensation fill his body as he took a seat next to the woman.
Smoothing rather than soothing. Do I go re-record that? Do I go make a V3? Decisions. Anyways, it better be kicked into a wall than into a hole. Although apparently Darth Maul can survive getting kicked into a hole. Into an endless hole. How he survived? Who knows? The Pit of Doom! Yeah. I won't let it slide. The Pit of Doom contains 2 villagers. Death gestured for Drake to step in, and Drake obediently did. He felt a warm smoothing. How did I even think it was smoothing? Smoothing doesn't even make sense in this context. He felt a warm, soothing, almost giddy sensation filling his body as he took a seat next to the woman, sinking into the soft, cloudy floor. Wait, I'm not caught up on my villager news lore. I think it's actually 1. Oh no! Nope, I read that too quickly. He felt a warm, soothing, almost giddy sensation fill his body as he took a seat next to the woman, sinking into the soft, cloudy floor. Too slow that time. He felt a warm, soothing, almost giddy sensation fill his body as he took a seat next to the woman, sinking into the soft, cloudy floor. Way too fast once more. He felt a warm, soothing, almost giddy sensation fill his body as he took a seat next to the woman, sinking into the soft, cloudy floor. Perfect! And of course, once again, oh, I forgot to normalize before exporting. Oops. That means I don't even need to worry about anything. I already had it done right. L. Effect. Tracks. Mix and render. Effect. Normalize. B3. Does that get to work?
Soothing. The sensation fill his body as he took a seat next
Me to them.
for Drake to step in, and Drake obediently did. He felt a warm, soothing, almost giddy sensation fill his body as he took a seat next to the woman, sinking into the soft, cloudy floor. Death sat on the opposite side of the woman, both of them leaning in for a quick, passionate kiss. Drake felt happy. For them, a feeling of both deep admiration and respect flowed from the two as they briefly gazed into each other's eyes, before turning their attention
To Drake. Yep. Death and life, literally dating here. And Weiss has food. Ooh, very nice. I have some kielbasa in my fridge. But, saving that for tomorrow. Leftovers from the Easter Bazaar. Kielbasa envy, yes. I know you envy the kielbasa. Not the deadly sin envy. I do not begrudge your possession. True. True. I'm happy to know that you do not covet my kielbasa. Now I just want some of my own. Yes. Oh. And I got some really good horseradish mustard. It's perfect. Do not handle ripples.
for Drake. Death cleared his throat, gesturing.
Let's get my earbuds back. I can take them off to relax, but I gotta keep them in if I want to hear what's actually happening.
Before Drake. Death cleared his throat, gesturing at the woman with a slight blush. Drake, this is my beloved, most commonly referred to as Lady Life. The woman gently shoved Death's shoulder. Oh, come on, you adorable little skeleton. You can tell him my real name. She turned to Drake with a smile. You can call me Ava, child. Now, tell me, what ails you, young one?
I think 1 second. Nah, we'll do 2. Drake sipped his whiskey in the oppressive silence. Not hard. The Geknoshan visibly paled. Just dead silence. Oh, there we go. I didn't think horses were radishes. I'm confused. I guess death and life dating isn't the weirdest concept I've seen for those two. Okay, just dead silence. Yeah. Sorry for the sudden bit of silence while I was focusing on that. Alright, take that. You said you had horseradish mustard. Ah, okay. There we go.
Looked into the calm, placid face of life, the question reverberating through his soul and calming his ever-present rage. Slowly, shamefully, he bowed his head. I'm afraid. I try to save the lives of those I care about, but more and more I fail them. Lives gone in an instant, with nothing I could have done to save them. Ava nodded sagely, guiding a small, bright light into her hand. She smiled at it before gently holding it out to the young Drake. Her words were silken and warm as she gently placed it in his curiously outstretched hand. Wishing to nourish the flame of life as an apostle of death is not a sin, my child, though you should know the burden this will bring.
Yeah, he's literally an apostle of death. That's metal as frick.
Oh, the burden this will... The small light touched his palm, and immediately he felt as though he was under a crushing weight. And yet, staring at that small, bright light, he wouldn't dare let it drop to the floor. He heaved, cupping the light in both hands as a mountain sat atop his shoulders. Sweat beaded on his brow as he forced himself to try and lift the small light higher, to guide it like Ava had, but he found himself unable. The small light sapping his strength, the higher he brought it until... The light flickered, and just like that, it was gone. Drake felt an overwhelming, inexplicable sadness in his chest, as the weight was lifted from his shoulders. Eyes wet, he looked up at life. What happened? Where did it go?
What is absolutely metal as frick is the recent Miracle of Sound song Honor and Devotion. Based on Rogue Trader, right? I tried grabbing 3 pair, so I'm gonna try squeezing 3 in. No, we'll need to go to 800. That's a little too much. I'd rather go down. Stick to 500. Still gotta listen to that. Space Marine 2. Gotcha.
Where did it go? Life smiled sadly. Glancing at death, he slowly pulled a small hourglass from his pocket, the glass acting as a window to a small gray rodent, basking in the sun on a rock in a place of paradise. Life gently took the hourglass, handing it to the bewildered Drake. That was Tom Bealey, a field mouse. You carried his light in your hands from his birth to his death. He lived a happy life for a mouse, never wanting for anything, never afraid. His life came to an end peacefully as he sunned himself on his favorite rock. A small existence, but one still so meaningful that it weighed on your shoulders so heavily.
Your shoulders so.
Drake gazed down at the little mouse, eyes watering as he watched the small animal's serene face.
Still so meaning.
Your shoulders so heavily. Drake gazed down at the little mouse, eyes watering as he watched the small animal.
Drake gazed down at the little mouse.
Watched the small animal's serene face. A life so short, yet so magnificent that it warranted the weight of...
Darn it!
Oh. Yeah, significant and magnificent are too large of a difference. We're doing a V4. A life so short, yet so magnificent. A life so short. A life so short. Oh. A life so short, yet so magnificent that it warranted the weight of a mountain. A life so short, yet so magnificent. Wow. A life so short, yet so significant that it warranted the weight of a mountain. Yeah, good enough. It's a little bit fast, but that's fine. It warranted the weight of a mountain. Drake hiccuped and hugged. It warranted the weight of a mountain. Significant that it warranted the weight of a mountain.
Ads. No, no. Accursed ads.
Ba dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Dee 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 dee. Yeah. Dee 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 dee. Wait, what?
Your
Drake
shoulders so
gazed
heavily.
down at the lovely. Where did this discontinuity originate? There. Shoot. Okay. That can be fixed.
Drake looked into the calm.
Placid face of life. Close enough. Fraction of a second off. And at the end, we are good. B3 is slightly longer, as it should be. Narrations, remove track, and there, and 1, 2. Trim the extra. Boom. Have you ever seen the Shia LaBeouf song? I have not, no. I have seen Shia LaBeouf yelling, "Fuck you! Say Christ is Lord! Say Christ is Lord!" But my favorite Shia LaBeouf fact, 4chan bullied him so hard that he became Catholic. And not just any kind of Catholic, but traditional Catholic. That is definitely the best fact about him. I have provided another link. It is amazing. Okay, well, I will need to look into that very horse-like song.
So heavily.
Drake little mouse, eyes watering as he watched the small
Your shoulders so heavily.
Drake gazed down at the little mouse, eyes watering.
animal's serene face. A life so short, yet so significant, that it warranted the weight of a mountain. Drake hiccuped and hugged the small hourglass to his chest, feeling a strangely deep connection to that little mouse. Life gently cupped his chin, making him look up into her eyes. She smiled sympathetically, gently wiping his tears away. I understand your pain, child, your fear, but please, dry your eyes and hear me. The burden of life is one we all must bear, from the smallest, most timid mouse to the biggest and bravest of beasts. You wish to save them all. This is no sin, child, nor is failure. All life comes to an end, no matter how hard even I may try. It may be extended, fought for with tooth and nail, but alas, all life will meet its end. Its end.
How do you bully somebody so hard they joined the Universal Assembly? I mean, what even is the chain of causation? So, are you familiar with the greatest game of capture the flag ever played? No? Okay, well, in that case, I need to counter with a link of my own. I guess let's just go straight to YouTube. Internet Historian is probably the best source of that. He will not divide us. And you know what I was referencing with Universal Assembly? Well, yes, Universal Assembly, that is another name for the Catholic Church. Go to Internet Historian. Maybe he has that as a playlist? Story mode, he does not. Okay, that would explain why I couldn't find it. Oh, there we go. Someone was kind enough to create a full playlist. So yeah, I just sent you a playlist of the full He Will Not Divide Us saga. But yeah, season 3 is the most important one, and unfortunately season 2 was deleted off the internet, so actually I wonder. He Will Not Divide Us. Well, it looks like lots of people want to search for season 2. Sorry, I might have missed something as I started to watch Link stuff, then realized you might be talking. Nah, I was kind of mumbling to myself while looking at that. But yeah, season 3 is the most important one. That is the greatest game of Capture the Flag ever played. But season 1 definitely gives a lot more context for what's going on. But yeah, short version, that is the history of 4chan bullying Shia LaBeouf. And then afterwards, he did a biopic about Padre Pio, and then he decided to become Catholic. And like he did a sit-down interview with Bishop Barron and everything. It's like, wow, he really did it. Is Shia still Catholic? Let's see if yeah, I haven't heard anything about him leaving, but yeah, that's kind of what happened. And Twitch just froze hard. Oh, lovely. Just what we need. Everybody needs Twitch freezing. Let's On my end, let's remove the bubble playlist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's sort of a big swerve. Oh, it most certainly is. Okay, whatever. What a day. All life.
She looked at death. A deep sadness invoked their eyes for a moment, before she gently took back the hourglass with Toby.
It's now 2 minutes lagged. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. But I think it's just gonna have to stay lagged. Oh, I think it's something wrong with my multiple output plugin. I think it's not playing nice. But it's only Twitch that happens to. All the other streaming destinations are fine. YouTube's fine, Rumble's fine. Big Swerve being converted to Catholicism from prior Hollywood convictions. Yes. Yeah, that's what I thought you meant.
Its end. A deep sadness invoked their eyes for a moment, before she gently took its end. She looked at death. A deep sadness invoked their eyes for a moment, before she gently took back the hourglass with Tombili. Holding it up, she smiled softly. Closing her palms around it, there was a flash, and she slowly folded them open, revealing a ghostly white mouse made of light. Life guided the mouse up her arm, before extending her other one out towards Drake. Tombili squealed happily and left off her hand, turning into a small ball of light that floated off into the air, captivating Drake. Death watched the light almost prance around the room before speaking. Take it from me, kid. Just as all life must meet its end, death is not permanent either. It's a break from the struggles and troubles of existence. Some use it to spend time with long-lost loved ones. Some use it to rest, but all...
Use it to rest.
He opened his hand to reveal a palm full of hourglasses, their glass surfaces allowing him to see the faces of his fellow humans. Many slept, others drank and ate to their heart's content. Children played with and hugged their parents. Gently, life took the hourglasses and cupped her hands around them. There was a flash, and she released a dozen ethereally giggling lights into the air, her voice warm and soothing as honey-sweetened scrubbed tree tea. I'll return to the cycle, to be born anew. They are freed from the bonds of their past life, and given new life. Drake watched the lights as they fluttered and pranced through them.
Softly, he asked.
He asked, is that all there is to life? Just endless death and rebirth? Both of the primordials laughed softly, looking into each other's eyes, their hands finding each other on the soft, cloudy ground. Life's voice soft and gentle. No, child. Life brings meaning to death. Death's voice was calm, level, but also as gentle as life's. And death brings meaning to life. Without me, no new life could be created. Life gently kissed her husband before speaking. Is that all? Just endless death and rebirth? Both of the primordials laughed softly, looking into each other's eyes, their hands finding each other on the soft, cloudy ground. Life's voice soft and gentle. No, child. Life brings meaning to death. Death's voice was calm, level, but also as gentle as life's. And death brings meaning to life. Without me, no new life could be created. Life gently kissed her husband
Before speaking. Four? Good? Kissed her husband before
and without me, the universe would be an empty, desolate place of cold darkness. For life does not exist simply to end. It exists simply to exist. to be beautiful and short, full of good times and bad ones. Death and life slowly looked back at Drake, as Death calmly stated. Death does not simply exist to end life. It exists to make every moment, every second, and every action meaningful. To give souls a place to rest and move on when they are ready. Drake looked at them both, then down at his hands where he held that
Small, but oh so heavy life. Right. Copy. 500.
he'd held that so heavy life. I think I understand now, but it still hurts knowing I couldn't do anything. Life nodded and gently pulled Drake into a hug, where he found himself crying his grief into her shoulder. And it always will, my child, but you carry them inside you. One you even keep in your heart. They never truly left you, child, and they forgave you long ago. Let them be your guide. Learn to listen to them and heed their warnings. They will stop
Losing yourself. Right.
from losing yourself. Drake nodded jerkily, wiping his eyes as Death stood and stepped over to the door to open it. Come on, kid. Let's let her get back to work. Drake nodded and unsteadily stood, dragging his feet as he stepped out the door. He still hurt, but somehow he knew that
Come on. Too many wires. My earbud got stuck in one.
nodded and dragging his feet as he stepped out the door. He still hurt, but somehow he knew that, given time, he would heal. Thank you, and I'm sorry, he mumbled.
Go. Let Troublemakers start to render. Ship, a show of force. Small. Yo, let's pull up the audio for processing. And start. Normalize. Oh. Definitely lacking sleep. But still, this is a short one. Got 4 pages, so it'll go by fast. It's not even 4 full pages. And besides, once I get that done, I still need to upload Memories of Creature 88. All right. Hmm.
one ship.
At my door, did you find what you was looking for? Will you help me repair my gate and door? The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping. The warrant said narcotics and kidnapping. I make my money. Make my rapping. Why did the warrant say narcotics? Okay, I get narcotics. But why kidnapping? Oh, Afro Man, Afro Man, Afro Man. Huh? What did I just do? Ah, there we go. There we go. That's what I messed up. I hit D instead of F. Let's get the correct background. Let's type some stuff. 30. Full justification. $18.28. No. $17.28. There. You sound like a Greek American musician there, Stabby. Really? Because I was just singing Afro Man. Although, what is the Greek American musician you're thinking of? Would you like a slice of lemon pound cake? Would you like a slice of lemon pound cake? You can take as much as you wanna take. No, I said you sounded. I have no idea why, Anwise. Haven't the slightest idea. uh. It's because you're a Yanni. uh. All right. Well, we just got 8 minutes of this. half the length of Troublemakers. You said yawny, and I need to yawn again. Yawns are contagious. Yawns are self-contagious, and yawns can even be it can even be spread just by mention of a yawn. One ship.
The Zeroth had brought a single ship. One ship.
One ship by AloneDoughnut. One ship by AloneDoughnut.
Zeroth had brought a single ship. One ship with the capacity to deploy an army of drones and swarms of fighters. One ship that was the size of a city and could blot out the sun for those below. One ship with a vast array of weapons, the likes of which humanity had never even dreamed of. One ship that had shields that could survive a nuclear blast, for even to use one nuclear weapon was surely a sign of desperation. One ship that could seemingly repair itself on the fly and build even more drones and even more fighters. One ship that with the push of a button could evaporate a military outpost
and slowly drift towards another.
and slowly to the Zeroth that made sense.
Military outpost.
Drift towards another. To the Zeroth that made sense. One ship had been enough to pacify previous pre-FTL species. Fear would consume them, and their planetary leader would bow and accept defeat. The defeated species would spend their lives as slaves, serving the Zeroth Empire. It had worked dozens of times, and should the native species put up a fight, then it would be a simple demonstration of power, and by the time the planet had spun on its axis once, the population had surrendered. To the Zeroth, this was the easiest way to deal with things. And then, that one ship would move on to another planet, to subjugate it when they needed to. It would take all the resources it would need, and soon Zeroth settlers would arrive, and take their rightful place as the leaders of the planet, and the people would be made better as slaves. The Zeroth
had sent only one ship.
The Zero one ship. It was an insult, really, as far as most.
The Zero
one ship. It was an insult, really, as far as most humans were concerned. A single ship? Where was the Armada? The invasion? The skies full of saucers that threatened an entire planet, and all major governments at once. And when it arrived over Chongqing and ultimately murdered 32 million people in a single moment, it had shown it was willing to use violence. So, for a brief moment, the nations of the world stopped, and agreed that maybe oil rights and international disagreements over types of rule were not worth continuing, at least until we sorted out this whole affair with a single ship. Who would have guessed the Zeroth would need more than a ship?
Oh. That was in fact one giant paragraph.
Who would have guessed the Zero ship? The Zeroth had been introduced to a planet that seemed uniquely equipped for war. Their fighters were small and fast, but they only had small laser weapons that required being within 100 meters to work, and had no idea what a beyond visual range missile was, or what being radar locked looked like. And yet, when American F-15s equipped with swarms of AIM-120 missiles flew alongside Russian Su-35s and Chinese J-16 equipped with their own BVR missiles, the small alien fighters didn't even know they were about to be destroyed. On the ground, Canadian snipers coordinated with British intelligence and German engineers to pick off the armies of drones from distances that were impossible for the drones to comprehend. They were stronger in every way to the flesh of the humans, but died the same to a 50 caliber hole in their center of mass. All the while, Pucara kept them distracted with constant ground attacks, backed by American A-10s. And then, there was the matter of the shields. For a single nuclear weapon was no problem, but a dozen Indian Agni P missiles slammed into it, supported by B-2 Spirits and Tu-160s and their payloads, bringing hellfire.
Overwhelmed the alien craft. Bringing hellfire that overwhelmed the alien craft. AR missiles, the small alien mass. All the while, Pucara kept them distracted, as from the skies fell one ship. BP missiles slammed into it, supported by B-2 Spirits and Tu payloads, bringing hellfire that overwhelmed the alien craft. Hellfire that overwhelmed.
Humanity watched, as from the skies fell one ship. The ship mostly survived, as did most of its crew. Engineers set to work, quickly reverse engineering the technology, and beginning the construction of their own ships. Soon the land rush to conquer the stars began by the various nations, and colonies popped up all over the solar system and beyond. Eventually, through careful interrogation and learning to navigate the stars, humanity found the home world of Azeroth. And they didn't only send one ship.
A Show of Force by AloneDoughnut. Only seven.
A Show of Force by AloneDoughnut. Braxia held it.
Right.
Halfway. Okay, I need something. I think I'm just gonna grab some yogurt. Be right back. Hooray! My hinges don't squeak anymore. Sometimes you're just like, you know what? I got the WD-40 right there. I may as well use it. Go. Got a little limey yogurt. But yeah, the end is literally in sight right there. Let's check my stats. Right, 2.5 hours of streaming. We need 2.7. But yeah, there's no way we'll, well, I don't remember exactly when I uploaded or hit private, so we'll see. I might get the whole stream, I might not. Okay. There we go. Got some yogurt in me. That'll hopefully help me focus. Let's get the bubble taken out.
Of force. Braxia held its breath. Not literally. Very few planets actually breathe, but the population sat in momentary terror. Eyes watched the skies and waited. 4 standard months ago, diplomacy had broken down between the human nation of the Alliance and the Braxians. And it started honestly enough. Human raw material exports were destroying Braxian industries. They sought to have the Alliance slow its production, and even limit the amount of Alliance-produced resources that could be traded across the Galactic Trade Commission. The rest of the human bloc had opposed this. The Reich's manufacturing sector relied heavily on the constant flow of Alliance materials, and the nomads regularly sent their citizens to crew the Alliance mining and maintenance platforms. Slowing that industry would have negative impacts across all 3 exporting human nations. Even the Gaians, known for their peaceful and non-interference in galactic affairs, had joined their kin and
Had joined their kin in protest.
The Commission refused to get involved at first. A lot of other members relied on human exports. Alliance drone ships moved a lot of goods across known space. But the Braxians rattled their cage and threatened to begin blockading routes through their space in protest. These sections of known space were heavily used for trade, increasing pressure. Threats of sanctions bounced around, and formally the Alliance discontinued relations with the Braxians outside of the GTC. The rest of the humans followed suit, and soon Braxian industries that relied on elements of human trade began to suffer. When the human bloc refused to let up its sanctions, the Braxians turned.
It sanctioned piracy. The state sanctioned piracy.
The first couple Alliance ships hit were small transports. It would have gone unnoticed if they had kept to them, or at least had hired non-Braxian privateers to handle it. But word got back to the Alliance Council, and the contempt turned to rage. Escorts started traveling with state-aligned transport companies. The Alliance Navy moved in tandem with the various trade routes, until this too drew the ire of other nations. Suddenly warships, small as they were starting to move through other Commission members' space. Given the human capacity for war, this could
Problem is, literally, I'm getting clumsy and knocking the earbuds out of my ears. Joys of wired, wired earbuds.
through other Commission members' space. The human capacity for war, this concerned some people. An emergency session was called, and the Commission demanded a resolution. The Braxians doubled down, and the Alliance threatened war if their
He was targeted. Their industry was
The
targeted.
Braxians called it a bluff, swore that the Alliance would never be so bold. Braxia would never bend to such idle threats, their representative had exclaimed. As these things go, it didn't take long for things to get hot. A Braxian privateer happened upon what they thought was the Alliance merchant vessel, Alone. They descended upon their prey, ready for the ambush, and disabled it with ease. Once aboard, they realized their mistake. As the beacon transmitted across space the distress, and the crew sat on the floor of the cargo hold, the privateers realized their mistake. This wasn't a merchant, it was a medical transport.
Can I fit both pairs? Yes, I can. And take us to 700.
Merchant medical transport. The powder keg that the Braxians had been building had been lit, and fury flowed forth. Alliance warships arrived in Braxian space, hitting outposts on their borders. The attacks were precise enough. Every outpost hit was never destroyed, but its industry ruined. Mining stations and gas extractors were left intact, but their capacity for industry was ruined. The Braxians prepared for a conflict, rallying troops, and preparing to move to defend the rim. But then the Alliance Navy arrived at Braxia. The home fleet was swept aside, and battle cruisers took positions over capital cities. The general of the fleet broadcast a message in front of the landing craft aboard his flagship, a warning that his people were set to land in the cities of Braxia and burn their infrastructure. It would take a day, if not more, for the Braxian main fleet to return from the outer edges of their space, by which time the human ships would have bombarded the planet from orbit. The threat was real.
There.
The threat, and it was there. And so, Braxia held its breath. Not literally. Very few planets actually breathed, but the population sat in momentary terror. Eyes watched the skies and waited. The outline of Alliance cruisers in low orbit, and the atmosphere crawled with Alliance transport. Loved ones hugged, and bunkers became crowded. And just as soon as they arrived, they packed up and departed. Within a day, the skies were once more clear. The people would learn that the Braxian government had offered reparations, and to withdraw their claim to sanctioning Alliance resource trades. In return, the Alliance had agreed to not occupy their home planet, and to also help them establish newer mining technology to compete more actively. All it took was a small show of force.
One shot, AloneDoughnut, one ship, a show of force. Okay, here we go. That's that. We did it. That's all of this week's recordings edited. Took me longer than planned, but hey, what can you do? And at least I'm back from back from being way behind on everything. Got these yellow, they're edited. Give it a different color for once I had something edited. Don't recall. Wow. Kill the spammer, kill the spammer, kill the spammer, dee. But yeah, I do need to upload this before I go to bed. And I guess we could work on the rest of that later. Ooh.
Die, die, die!
Thank you, Enwise. Thank you very much. Alright, well. Yeah, we'll be turning those Peacock once we get them uploaded, but until they're uploaded, they remain yellow. Color of warning. You need to get this fixed. We got tomorrow's G-Gen episode already uploaded. We got Tuesday's episode of G-Gen recorded, but not yet uploaded. And we're going to... Tomorrow's stream, or I guess technically today's since it's already Monday, but, you know. Still need to sleep and go to work and do all that before we can even think about streaming. We'll be doing some more Super Robot Wars Y. Because we need one for Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We'll see if I can squeeze 3 episodes in. I hope so. Hopefully I can start early. And, you know, I miss the days when I had backlogs that were 3 weeks, a month almost. Yeah. Super Robot Wars doesn't play nice with that. Especially not the way that I play Super Robot Wars. And especially not when I'm doing, no. 3.5 plus 5, 8.5. 9.5 gaming releases every week, plus another 3. Oh. Another 3 narration chapters, so yeah. That's where that goes. Alright. I think I'm done. Yeah. I guess let's just go back and back to the correct saved position. Save. Close that. Close that. Save and close. And we're done. That's it. 45 more seconds of rendering, and Friday's narration is also done. Alright, well, I gotta kill the stream so that I actually have the bandwidth to upload, because this is taking more of it, and once I start uploading, it's gonna use all the bandwidth, so no uploading and streaming at the same time. That's not safe. Yeah, guess that's that. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. Freedom Fiend, Joe the Brick, Cesar. Yeah, I think that's good. See you in Discord then. Alrighty, see ya.